Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. Welcome to this episode. We're talking January sales. I'm super excited about this because January sales are one of my favorite things ever. And I have to admit that despite being the person who strongly advises against discounting, I have to admit that January sales and even that post-Christmas period of like 5 days is some of my favorite time in the whole retail year. So for me this year, in case you're wondering what I'm picking up at a bargain, I am, heading to Fatface, to Karen Millen, to Coach and Mulberry because handbags. And I am, stocking up on early birthday presents. Weirdly in our family, a lot of people are born like really early in the year. So for me, frustratingly, Sam's brother's actually born on the 15th of January. So our kind of birthday season starts pretty much as soon as Christmas finishes with more people. So I'm picking up early birthday presents and a couple of little bits for me for being so nice all over Christmas and, not being one of those heinous Scrooge type Grinch people, but instead being the voice of Christmas cheer. That's how I'm justifying it to myself, and I'm fine with that. So let's talk about January sales and specifically the strategies that retailers and marketers are employing to get you to buy in this discounted period for effectively what are goods that they haven't sold out of, that haven't been their most popular items over the previous year. Okay, and we know this because obviously if they had been super popular, they would have sold out and we wouldn't now be able to pick them up at a discount. So we're going to be looking at why January sales are so important and the kind of strategies that are being used and how you can leverage those strategies for your business so that if you want to do anything in January, if you want to have a sale, if you want to do anything that is a little bit different when it comes to your sales process this year, that you can implement it and go ahead and make your life nice and easy on yourself. So, yay! So let's start with January sales copy. Now, for the rest of the year, you hear me banging on about the fact that your copy needs to talk about benefits. But January is the one time of the year where actually people don't focus on benefits really at all. In fact, all of the major retailers have spent the rest of the last year focusing on benefits. And so actually, now is the time where they can just splash out on sales copy that is all about the price and all about the discount that you're going to get. Now, there are two types of sales copy that go out in January. So one is the sales copy that has a focus solely on price. And that's the typical sales copy you'll see with the banners that are everywhere in stores. You'll see it on the internet when it flashes up in your newsfeed. You'll see people writing posts. Oh my goodness, you're going to get a 57% discount or a 65% discount. And the focus very much is buy this thing you wanted, but get it cheaper than when you originally wanted to buy it. And that, FYI, is the reason that I do not discount products, because I don't want anyone to ever feel like, I should have just bought it when it was cheap. But nevertheless, let's kind of dig into that. So that strategy can work really well if you have an audience of buyers who have been really interested in grabbing certain things from you over the year, but haven't been able to make the price work. So if you've got something that is solely focused on price, you don't also have to focus on discounting it. Okay, so if you've got an audience who have been on the fence about taking a certain course, buying a certain product, but price has been the major issue, you can combat that in two ways. One is to focus your sales copy on the price with a discount and talk about what you're going to give them off. And yay, isn't it exciting? You can grab a bargain. But if you don't want to train your audience into discounting, which not a lot of us do, then you can focus on price from a perspective of this is the final time it's going to be that price. Now, obviously, only say it's the final time if it is the final time. Don't lie to your audience, integrity, everything. But make sure that instead of focusing on a discount that they can receive, that you're letting them know that the consequences of not buying right now are that the price will continue to rise. And so, now is the best time for them to get in. It is going to be the best deal that they're going to get, and it doesn't compromise your feelings on discounting either. Now, the second type of sales copy that we see often in January, and this is used most typically in the health and wellness industry, is around personal development. Okay, new year, new start. So it's not specifically around benefits per se. It's not always listing out, you're going to feel like this and these are the reasons that you should do it. But it is focused on this idea that every year we get an opportunity to start again. And we get to have our perfect year or our best year yet, living our best lives, all those kinds of hashtags that generally millennials use and sound really good on Instagram and stuff. But if you are in the health and wellness industry, or if you're in the personal development industry, this can work really well, because a lot of people will be reflecting on the year gone past or reflecting on the year that they want to have. And so actually, if you are selling things like planners, if you're selling health and wellness solutions, if you're selling even business solutions, then actually people want to have bigger, better, more exciting, wealthier years. And so you can use that sales copy strategically as well, and really be talking into the desires that people have. Because when we're at this start of the year, we feel like anything is possible. And so when you're seeing sales copy and it's reiterating that fact, anything is possible, this is how things could change for you, then people are inspired to take action. They're inspired, they're motivated, and they will purchase. Okay, so those are the focuses on sales copy. Either go with cash or with personal development, kind of new year, new start focuses with your sales copy. Now, the second sales strategy that shops are going to be using are, and this is I guess the one that's super powerful, is the fact that they will literally promote everywhere, non-stop. So Christmas traditionally is the biggest retail period of the year, but shops don't actually spend that much in terms of advertising at Christmas, because it's Christmas. Everyone has to buy stuff. You have to go and buy food, you have to go and buy presents, you have to do all that kind of thing, because that's just tradition. But in January, shops know that you are trying to stay at home, that the majority of people have a really long window between December and the end of January for when they get paid. So actually now is their time to make this big push for revenue, but also to make sure that they are convincing you to get out of your sofa chair and into a store or online, to make sure that you are contributing to their profit margins in that January period. This sounds super cynical, doesn't it? But I actually really do love January sales. I just want to hammer that home. Like, I'm absolutely fine with the fact that they want to sell me stuff in January. I'm okay with that. So this sales strategy is super powerful, and it's this idea of maximum visibility and maximum promotion. And if you walk into any shopping centre in the UK and the US in January, you are going to see banners everywhere. It will be, and again, their sales copy will be focused on either discount or this personal development focus, but the banners will be everywhere. There will be little labels on coat hangers that remind you of the discount that you are about to receive. They will have moving advertisements and like kiosk advertisements in shopping centres that you're walking past that are constantly scrolling. They'll be retargeting you on Facebook or via an email list, because a lot of shops will be asking you when you pay if you want your receipt emailed to you, and then you're on a list and you're getting targeted with other things that will go with that item. And so really, this is super, super smart, and this is something that everyone can employ in their business. Again, not just in January and not just with regards to discounts, but this idea of playing at maximum capacity in terms of visibility and promotion, because on average, it is going to take somebody 7 instances of seeing your offer to buy. 7 times. So if you're walking around a store, and I did this the other day in Fatface, they had a 25% off sale. And when I walked into store, they had a little note card. It was slightly bigger, obviously. It was like A2 or whatever the relevant size is. They had an A2 note card stuck up at the front of the store, letting people know they had 25% off. They had a window display letting people know they had 25% off. They also had little cards over the note hangers that said they had 25% off. When I went into the changing room to try something on, they had a little banner there that let me know, don't worry, your discount is here. You're going to get 25% off. So they had lots and lots and lots of points of contact with me, reminding me about this discount that they wanted me to purchase. Okay. So think about that when people are going through the journey with you. How are you reminding them? How are you using this maximum visibility or repetitive sales technique? How are you showing them at different points on your website or different points in your email sequence that they can buy from you? And here's how they can do it. Now, you don't have to necessarily do it in a kind of way that makes your audience feel bombarded, because let's face it, January sales shopping can be pretty horrific. We all are secretly glad for February when we can walk into a shopping centre and there aren't, banners that we're going to scrape our heads on and stuff. Though that's never happened to me because I'm very short. But it happens to Sam all the time, drives me crazy. So we are all secretly glad. We can't rinse our audiences. We can't use them like that all the time. We can't continue on this maximum visibility sales strategy forever because it isn't sustainable for our audiences or their attention spans or adrenaline spikes. But what we can do is find ways that do increase that repetitive sales strategy so that they do understand how they can buy from you regularly, so that they can be spending more time on your website or in your email list and being exposed to offers in a way that feels good for them, in a way that's consultative, that actually is based on choices. So for you in 2019, one of the ideas that you might start with is actually segmenting your email list and sending your email list offers based on what they actually need or what they joined your list for. That might be based on a revenue target they have. It might be based on certain actions they take. It might even be based on certain things that they download that help give you an insight into their behavior and what they're going to need next. All right. And that will tie into that maximum visibility or repetitive selling strategy, but it won't feel like your audience is tired of seeing you all over the internet every single day. Okay. And then as the month goes on, we see the final strategy that is employed by retailers at this time of year. And this is the time that I stop shopping. Okay, so I have a very finite attention span for shopping. I love pre-Christmas. I love going out and getting other people gifts. I'm obsessed with shopping for other people. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy buying gifts, and I enjoy that period of the year. I enjoy going out in the January sales and I enjoy buying things that I want. So for example, this year, I have my eye on a couple of Mulberry handbags that I know, given that one of them is bright teal, I'm probably not going to use it that often. And therefore, I'm not going to spend the amount of money on it that they wanted full price. However, if it goes into the January sales, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to buy it, because then I have saved money on an item that I didn't value enough at full price to buy it. It didn't have enough benefits, or it didn't target my benefits driven mind enough when it was full price, but does at a discount, right? It becomes more valuable to me at a discount because I can justify the cost. So I enjoy these types of sales periods. The bit where I stop shopping is when you walk into a store and it's sold all the good stuff on sale. All of the sizes are now gone. So you can't find a size 10 for love nor money, because everyone has been in there and bought them, and everyone's been in and bought all of the common sizes. And instead, what you were left with are clothes that kind of look like 90s gangster rap throwback clothes, or things that are faulty, or things that you would never, ever, and no other human being would ever actually want to buy. And this is when shops pull out their big guns. And this is when they try and recoup costs. Because obviously, if you're selling products, there will be certain products that sell really well and that are really popular. And there'll be certain products that people just don't continue to buy. Shops will launch things. And like when we launch things, not everything is successful. And so at the end of January, they go hard on discounting to recoup their costs and get rid of the goods that are least wanted, so that they're not throwing endless amounts of stock away and therefore pouring tons and tons of profits down the drain. And this is the point at which I stop shopping, because otherwise I am very likely to end up with a Union Jack sheath dress, pretend that I'm Jerry Halliwell, and things could go dangerously, dangerously wrong. So about the 12th of January, I find is a good time for me to stop looking at shops, stop looking at online sales, because that's typically when they tend to run out of things that I actually want. And then I'm just in a buying pattern. So I end up buying things that I don't want and I don't need and I never wear. And, 3 months later, I end up putting in a bin bag anyway, thinking, dear Lord, what possessed me? Now, this is a really interesting strategy for retailers to use, because obviously if they sell any of these items that are the least wanted from the last year, they're just recouping their costs to make that product. All right, they're not doing it because they think you're really going to look good in fluorescent yellow. That has never been said. Instead, they're looking to recoup their costs and just make the money back that they probably spent on bulk buying or bulk producing. Okay, so if at that point you actually buy any of those things, it's a win. It's not going to be the stuff that's actually making them the money. It's not going to be the money that is contributing heavily to their profit margin. It's just a savior type cost, right? You're saving them from having a total and utter failure on one product or service. And that's why they go really heavily into discounting. And at this point of the year, you can find tops for like £2 or £3. And they're all in, colours that you wouldn't normally wear, but you think, well, for £2, could I give it a go? And you think maybe, and you realise, like say, 3 months later, never going to happen. So you need to watch out for this in stores, but also think about how you could apply it with integrity to your business. So for example, if you have a product or a service that you launched in the last few years and you're thinking, I don't want to run that again. For me, I don't want to run it again. Or actually, I just felt like every time I was launching it, I was working really hard for very little return. And so what you might do is decide to retire it. And that's the same principle, okay? Because when stores are getting rid of these least wanted offers or least wanted products, they're effectively retiring them and looking at it and thinking, right, these are not going to work. We're going to take a hit on them. We're going to sell as many as we can just so that we can reduce that hit. But then we're probably not going to release something that looks exactly the same for next year because we've learned our lesson. And this is the thing that you want to be doing. Looking at what you want to potentially cull in your business for 2019. What do you want to get rid of? And thinking about, can you make a retirement offer for that product or service? Is it worth sending it out into the universe, the internet, the World Wide Web, whatever, and saying to people, this is not going to be available. Moving past the end of January, this is not going to be available. So if you want it, now really is the time to buy it because it's going to be retired or it's going to, be put in a bin somewhere, however you feel like expressing it to your audience, so that actually you get rid of, or you kill two birds with one stone, right? You get rid of a course or a program or a service that you don't want to run in 2019, but you recoup costs and lost revenue from selling it at that last point of January, at that discount or with a special offer or with a special bonus, so that actually you're generating instantaneous cash flow and not having to worry about tons and tons of delivery. All right, so those are the 3 strategies that stores are employing this January. So if you, like me, have been heading out into the high street and looking at all of those things that you potentially want to buy, that you want to grab, make sure that you're also applying these things to your own business. Make sure that you are looking at your sales copy, focusing it either on price or personal development, that you are producing a powerful and repetitive sales strategy to help your audience buy from you in the least sleazy way, and think about anything that you want to cull from your business this year and how you can increase your cash flow on it without having to do tons and tons of extra work or big launches. I will see you in Friday's episode. We have an extra special guest because through January, we also have our 6-figure success series still running, and we have seriously some of my favorite people ever coming on the podcast this month, which I am super excited about, answering some really big questions about why their sales strategies have been so phenomenal and why it has helped them skyrocket into stratospheric success. I hope you have an epic week. I will see you on Friday, and don't get stung by too many of those fluorescent high-vis lurid orange jackets, because I know just how tempting they can be. I'll see you in the next episode.